Hi, this is Mrs. Oakley, and today we're going to look at Unit 4, Lesson 1A. Make sure that you've got your new note packet. And remember, we're not going to be doing all of this because this is just Part A. So you're only going to be doing a little bit of this packet or this sheet, this paper. You'll do the rest on the next lessons. All right, so first off, I want to talk about base 10. So you learned that a cube was 1 and that a rod was 10 and a flat was 100, right? Well, now I want to take you the other direction. So one of our cubes is actually a whole. So think about this as like those one of those little tiny base 10 cubes, right? One of those units. If I were to cut it up into pieces and I said a tenth. So let me show you what a tenth looks like. So when I write a tenth, I say 0.1. A tenth is 10 little ones of these, right? It's one rod, but it's a piece of it. Instead of being its own unit, it's now a piece of a whole. Hundredth is one of these little tiny little cubes inside one of those big unit cubes that we used to use. So this would be 0.01. Great job. All right, so a decimal is a number written using the place value system. The decimal separates the whole number from the whole number part from the part that is less than 1. So here, if we were going to write this in standard form, we would say 1.83. Now, all these zeros we don't need because they're not going to change the value of it. So how would I write this in expanded form? Well, let me get my trusty text box. I would say 1 plus 0.8, because 8 is in the tenths, plus 0.03, because the 3 is in the hundredths. So how do I say this number? Well, here's where it gets kind of tricky. So 1, we don't say 1 decimal point, we say 1 and. The word and equals your decimal point, okay? All right, going back here, 1 and, then we say this number to get it together, 83, and then we say the place value that it ended in, 83 hundredths, okay? Jump. All right, let's move on. So write the number as a decimal in standard form. So first and foremost, what I like to do is I like to first look and see if it has and. If it has and, I'm going to put my decimal point first and foremost. Okay? That way I remember that 16 is before and 5 tenths is after. Okay? Looking at number 2, no and, so I'm going to say 78, and it has to end in the hundredths, which means it's behind, and A is going to end in the hundredths. Okay, try 3 and 4 yourself, and then come back and see how you did with these. Okay, you should have said 3 and, there's that decimal, 61 hundredths. Okay, number 4, 4 and 7 thousandths. Well, tenths, hundredths, thousands. Can't leave those two other places blank, so we put zeros down. Great job. All right. Try these now. Try these 4 real quick and then pause the video and come back and see if you got them correct. All right, number 5, you should have said 89 and 2 tenths. Okay, 6, 25, 10 thousandths. So let's see here. Tenths, hundredths, thousandths, 10 thousandths. See how I put my places out? And it says 25, 10,000. So remember, the last number has to end in the 10,000s place. So I'm going to put zeros here. Good job. That was a tricky one. All right, 147 and 147 and 6,000. Tenths, hundreds, thousands, 6. Add those zeros. Here we go, 73 and 1900s. All right, now we're going to use words. So remember, we first need to see if there's the decimal. There's always going to be the decimal, but is something in front of it? There is. So we're going to say 5 and, because and represents that decimal, 9. And then what place is the 9 in? Well, it's in the tenths. Okay. So this one, we don't have to do something and. Yes, we could say 0 and, but that's just not how it does. If there's a 0 in front, we just leave it alone. We don't need to tell people that there's nothing there. So we would just say 4. And what place is in the 4 in? The hundredths. Great job. All right, now I want you to try these two. Come back and see if you got them correct. Now remember, I'm not grading you or checking you on spelling. Just do your best. You can always look it up on your computer. All right, not how to write it, but how to spell the word. Okay, here we go. Let's look and see if you got them correct. You should have, for this first one, you should have said 17 and 28, and it ends in the hundredths. Okay. For number 12, you should have said 3 and 61. What place does it end in? Tenths, hundreds, thousands. Great job. You have finished Unit 4, Lesson 1A. Go ahead and head back to Classcraft and continue on your way. I'll see you for the next lesson.